Today I'm bringing you outside with me. I wanted to work on something and you're going to be with me going through the process because I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. So I'll tell you what the supplies are. It's not a lot. It's just you got to get some cement. Now I happen to have this kind that I used for some different garden mushrooms and things. Well, this time I want to make a big cement sphere fountain so I can have my birds fly around and sit on it. So I'm going to try that, okay? So the first thing I did was I found me a rubber ball. Okay, I found a rubber ball and it was all intact. Okay, you can get them in any toy store. And it's just full of air. So then I cut a little circle right around in here. This is where it's going to sit too, so that it doesn't roll around when you're done. Okay, so this is the big hole. And then on this end, I made a smaller hole so I can put my tubing in there for the fountain. And so in order to fill this up with cement, I used a container that was kind of shaped like the ball and a little sand in the bottom. I happen to have all this stuff in my shed, which was nice. I made a little indentation and then I just put the ball in it. It fits perfectly in this big giant picture that I had. Okay, so now I want to put my mechanism down the center so that it makes a nice hole down the middle. So what I did was I had a couple of these straws. These are the jumbo straws I'm going to use for my system here. And it's not long enough. You'll notice if I push it all the way in there, you can't even see it really. Okay, so I added a straw on top of it, and I had to slice it a little bit to put it over to make the straw longer. If you have a long tube, longer than that, then use that. But I just happen to use straws. I'm going to try it. And because there's a hole in the bottom, and there's sand, I'm going to push it all the way through. So that way, when I put the cement in there, the hole will be at the bottom of my cement ball as well as with the top. Okay, so that's ready to go. And now what I do is I mix my cement. You want to have some tooling. This is what I use for bonding inside my ball for the cement to hold to. Just something to add. I'm going to put on some gloves and my mask, because I don't want to breathe this stuff in. And then I have to add water to my cement. Okay, so I got some cement in here, but there's some hard rocks in there. If you get the ready mix and it's got rocks in it, you want to strain out all the rocks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little cement in here first. I could probably pour it in a little bit to the bottom, and then I'm going to add some tooling, but you want to squish it towards the straw because you don't want the tooling sticking outside from the outside. So then I'll do some more. And you want to try to do this within an hour because it does set. And you'll want to squish it down as well with your spoon to make sure it fills up all the areas of the ball. Let's see. That. There. Looks like it's to the edge of the ball all around inside. Make sure it gets all inside there. You're supposed to not let it wait too long to dry because you might not be able to get the ball off. So I'm going to try to cut it away and then let it dry the rest of the way. My ball kind of got weird shape to it, but that's okay. It's going to be very unique. Oh yeah, that one's a little sharper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get the ball off of this. Let's see if it'll... Yay, look at that. Ooh, look how pretty that is. I don't want to cut into it. Be real careful. Well, I'll have to fix that. I'll have to doctor it up a little bit because you'll see that I have some tooling on the outside, so I'll just put some more cement on it. Okay, so I'm going to roll it a little bit. I don't want to break it. Okay, so there's that. Now I can reuse the ball. I'm gonna let that dry. This way, this is the flat side, and this is going to be the bubbling side. So let's just see what happens. I'll give it another 24 hours to dry. Matter of fact, this wasn't 24 hours. It was about 8 hours, and then I cut off the outside, and then I'll let it cure another few hours. And I'll mess with it in the morning and I'll come back. Well, here it is. This is a heavy ball. Okay, so I'm going to take it apart a little bit and show you how I put it together. It took me several attempts to find the right combination for this because, oh man. Okay, so I'm using a power source. And you can get 2 of them for like $12, and they're great. And so it's going to a small pump. And actually, I got this little pump out of a kitty cat waterer. And so I'm just kind of mixing and matching. But I got this thing at the dollar store, and I had plants in this, but they were not doing so well. So I turned it into a fountain. And I knew that there was a hole in the bottom going into the little runoff dish, so I had to put this on it so that it can catch the water. Then I had to make sure the water was above the pump that you put inside, and I simply used a straw. Now I already put a big straw inside here, but I found a smaller straw that fit perfectly on the pump, went straight up and right up to here. And this is now my solid ball entourage. You can look online and see how you put them together, but this is so cute. I haven't had any birds on it yet, but that's okay. I think it's beautiful, and I have several fountains around my deck right now. Anyway, I'm going to keep the water filled up in there. I can see it in here. And anyway, that's how this went.